what's up guys, I am Pavan and welcome to the 6th episode of Flutter Weekly Widgets, and we are again back with another widget. So in this video we are going to talk about a widget which is actually not a part of the Flutter SDK itself, but we will get this widget using a third-party package, which is kind of a very good package I went through. So this is a package for Webview, and this is basically a Webview plugin where you will get a Webview widget, and that has some limitation, but I guess that actually has a lot of things which generally you need. So we will be taking a look on that particular widget, and we will integrate that, and we will try to make a browser application. It will be a very simple browser application, but it will be just for understanding the concept. So let's start. So as you can see on the screen, we have just normal main method, and inside that we have our material app, and then we have in our stateful class we have a normal scaffold. So basically it is nothing. Okay, so now before starting, let me just do few things. So we will, first of all, we have to specify that particular package in our YAML file. So what we can do, we can go to our pubspec.yaml, and now we need to add a package here. So below this Cupertino icons, I will add another package which is Flutter underscore Webview underscore plugin. Okay, and I have to specify its version, so it is 0.2.1 plus 2. Okay, so this is the package which we need, and I'll also give you the link for this particular package in the description so that you can check it and take a look. And I guess there is an example as well, so it will help you if you don't want to watch this video, but otherwise if you are a video lover, so that is this video is for you. Okay, so this is what we have, and now we have imported it. So what I can do here, I can import it here as well, and yeah, so we have imported this package Flutter Webview plugin slash Flutter Webview plugin dot. So this is the file which we need. It's the library file, of course. And now in this scaffold, let's have an app bar, and which can have, suppose, a title, and with the text, let's say browser. Okay, so this is what we have. Let's run this application once and let's see if everything is working fine or not. Okay, so this is, so basically what they are doing, they have a Webview Scaffold widget which is something which they have created by themselves, and basically using the rectangle and everything, they have created this widget and wrapped it using the scaffold, and this actually works very well, and they have given many customization as well. So it is actually a very good thing. So as you can see on the left hand side, we have this browser, a normal app bar, and I just don't want this debug banner, so let me just make it false as well. And now let's make a full restart, and yes, the banner is gone. So now what we need, so basically they have there are many ways you can show a web view. So because the web view is part of the native operating system, so if I am using a launch URL kind of stuff, then there will be a screen which will be either Android screen or the iOS screen which will be called, or you can use a Webview widget which will be a part of Flutter, but it is actually that particular Android screen, and above that you have a particular app bar for our Flutter and everything. So that's just kind of a hack, but you know, it works very well. So because this Webview Scaffold is not supported by Flutter internally, so there may be some similar thing can come in the future, but right now it is not there. So what we are going to do, we are going to replace this scaffold with the Webview Scaffold. So we have something called Webview Scaffold, and it is the part of the this plugin, and it gives us few parameters. So the app bar is similar, we don't have an body because they have overridden it, you can say, and then we have this URL where you can specify your URL. So I am going to write google.com, let's say. Okay, then they have many other you can say arguments. Clear cache, which is a boolean, it can be true or false. Enable app scheme, which is by default true. Then you have user agent, you can specify your user agent. Then with JavaScript, which is by default true, with local storage, with zoom, so everything is there. So this is what we have. We will make a hot reload now, and these are the URL is compulsory, of course. And now there is a hot restart I will do, and maybe I need to rerun this application as well. Let's see. So we are here, yeah. So let's just close this and rerun this application so that it can work. Let me just clear this as well. So I am on the dev branch, so there can be some issues with the hot reload also, because I have seen some issues there with the VS Code especially. So I'll just suggest you to be patient, and yeah, so this is what we have. It will take few more seconds to appear, and yeah, so we have an app bar, and as you can see we have already this URL opened, which is google.com, and it looks pretty well. If you see here, there is nothing like it is looking like a different screen or something. It looks like a widget. Okay, then you have many things like with zoom, so you can make it true, and you can make a hot restart, and then you have this screen again, and now you can zoom it, I guess. So I guess we need to not hot restart is not gonna work that way, I guess. Yeah, so we need to rebuild this again. So this with zoom feature can help you in zooming it, and let me just see if everything is working fine. Yeah, and then we have many things like a user agent with JavaScript, which is already enabled by default. So everything is there, and this is the very easiest way to do this stuff. And yeah, so this is the easiest way. And apart from that, what you can do, so basically let me just change this URL to something else. Maybe we can make it flutter.io. okay, and yeah, this hot reload is not working, which it's supposed to work. So there is some problems with the latest release, I guess. So please make sure that you are not on the latest version of this dev branch, because there are some issues, and it will take few more seconds, guys. Please bear with me, and then we can see everything is working fine or not. So now we have this screen again. Yeah, so we have this flutter.io now, and now it supports zoom, as you can see. Okay, because we have this property with zoom is true, so it will support it. And if I make it false now, let me just try this hot restart again, and it rebuilded it, and it has the circular indicator. It's by default, so you don't have to worry about that. And now zoom is still working. I don't know, because hot restart is not working properly. That may be a reason, but this is what we have. Okay, and now we will see what else this Webview offers us. So we will try to make a very good browser kind of application out of it. So what I am going to do, I am going to replace this app bar. The title, I don't want these things, so I'll just change it, this text, and rather than I will have a input field maybe. Okay, so I can have a text field basically. So we can have a text field where autofocus should be false. Then we can have a controller maybe. Okay, so let's have a controller. We can make a controller here. So we can say text editing controller is equal to text editing controller, and then we can pass that controller Okay, and then we can have something like what else you want something cursor color, so let's make it white. Then we have cursor width, let's make it 0.3. okay, and then now we have some styling, so we can use the text style and we can give it a color of, let's say, white. It will look good. Okay, and then we have this decoration, where we can have input decoration, and we don't want any border, so we can say input border dot none. okay, it looks pretty good. And now we need a hint so that we can understand where is our input text. So we can have a hint text where we can say enter URL. okay, and let's just refresh it, and it is looking good. Let's we can also enter URL here, should be good. That makes more sense. Yeah, and this is working. Yes. Okay, so this is what we have, and we can also give it a color of white, maybe colors dot white, and then it should look good. Yes, and now there can be something called on submitted. So if on editing complete is one more thing which you can use, because you have something called let me just show you something. So basically you have this text input action. So basically when you are done with your inputting the URL, then you can use this .go text input action .go, which will show the go button in your keyboard at the end, or the arrow button for go, and that's also very good. So as you can see here on the left hand side, we have this done icon on the keyboard, then it will be converted into a go, so that's a good thing. And we also want this on editing complete. It will be called when this text input action will be done. So here we can have the URL, and then what we can do, this takes nothing. Okay, so on editing complete is not something which we want on submitted, correct, and we will call something. Okay, so this is what we have, and we will launch URL. This is a method which I will make after this. So let's make a method here, launch URL. okay, and what we can do, let's have our URL, let's say what name we can give, URL string. okay, and by default let's give it something google.com. okay, so this is our URL as of now, and when you will go to this launch URL method, then you can ask your controller this URL string to be equal to this controller dot text. okay, this is one thing you can do. And now we can also have a button in this app bar which can do the same thing. So yeah, so with the app bar, what we are going to do, we can have an action where we can have an icon button where we can have an icon. okay, and icon can be next, navigate next, and on pressed we can call the same method, launch URL. So someone, if let's say someone don't know to hit this button on the keyboard, then you can press this button, which is icon button. And yeah, So as you can see, we have everything on the screen now. So now if I just remove this, then you can see we can enter a URL here, and now we also need to pass that URL to this URL field, which is right now hard coded. So we will change it and we can make it something like URL string. Now I will just perform a hot restart, and now if everything is working, let me just see. So hot restart didn't work, so we are done. And now let's just do one thing. Okay, we have some error here. So what we are going to do, we will rerun this application now. So what we did, let me just explain. So we had this Webview Scaffold. In this, so we have an app bar where we have a text field where we are taking an input from the user to insert some URL. Okay, right now he has to use this HTTPS and everything, but we can fix that also if we want. And then if he enters that URL, then we rebuild the app with that particular URL and basically the widget tree, and then we have that particular URL opened. Okay, and we have the button for that, or also he can press the on submit on his keyboard. So this is what we have. Okay, and I'll go to this enter URL here. Now my keyboard is open, and as you can see, the arrow has changed on the keyboard. Now I can write something called HTTPS. Okay, and now let's go to flutter.io, and I'll press this button, and as you can see, it should take me to flutter.io, but nothing is working, I guess. So let me just see why it is not working. And this is not working probably because let's go to this method and let's see if this is getting called or not. Okay, so when we press it, and we can see our controller text is this, URL string is this, and everything is kind of good. So let's run this, and it is not getting built. So for these particular scenarios, what you can do, okay, that is the question. So let me just run this again, and it is still not working. So for these particular scenarios, what you can do, you will have more things which you can access. So what we are going to do, we are going to have this init state method overridden, and inside that, what we are going to do, we will have something called a Flutter Webview plugin, okay, which also comes with this this particular plugin, and then we can use it like this. And now using this plugin, we can have sort of listeners which will listen to our activities. So what we can do, we can have many listeners here, and we have a property like go back, go forward, and everything. Okay, and hide, launch. So this launch is for launching the URL in another screen, which will be a native screen. Okay, so we're not so, and you can see we have this callback methods like on destroy, on HTTP error. Okay, so we can use these methods, and using these methods we can access the state as well. So let's see what else we have. So we have something called on state changed. We will listen to this method, okay, and it will give us this Webview state changed, Webview state, which we can use Webview state. Okay, and then using this method, what we can do, one second guys, what happened? Okay, we missed this particular thing, Webview state changed. Okay, this should be like this, and here I'll just use this. So this is what we have, and here what we can do, we can print the state. Okay, so we can use something like dot type. Okay, so what is the type of the state we can access from this? So now if I will open my debug console, let me just clear everything. Let me perform a hot restart if it works this time. It worked, I guess. Yes. And now if I will write here anything, so as you can see in the console, we have this state as webview state dot start load and then finish load. And now let me just write the URL again. Let's write facebook.com and let's enter, and let's see what if something happened. So as you can see, nothing is actually working because maybe our URL is not getting I guess URL is not getting built. So that means our this tree is not getting rebuilt, and that is the problem. So I guess that's the problem which we can recover, and that problem can be something related to one thing which we didn't do. So what we need to do to make it work, we can access this Flutter WebView plugin. Let me just make it little bit outside. Okay, and we can use it here, and now we can say this Flutter WebView plugin to relaunch the URL. So we have this reload URL where we need to also pass this URL, so that is why it is not working. Okay, so I can say URL string and it will reload the URL. And now if I will just make a hot restart, and thank God it is working or not. This time it is not working again, and that's so there are some issues with this. Let me just give some time to this particular ID to restart it. So there are some issues with currently with this version of Flutter, as I already told you, and this particular thing sometimes break this hot reload stuff, and that's one issue. So as you can see, we have this reload URL which we are now using, and right now we have this screen. Now we can enter URL here, and we can say https and let's say facebook.com. okay, and I press this, and as you can see, now we are on facebook.com. and if I will show you the debug console, as you can see, we have this state as finished. So if you want to perform any operations, you can perform here. So similarly, you have many other things like using this Flutter WebView plugin, you have access to many other methods like on scroll X changed, on scroll Y changed, and this works different for iOS and Android. And you have also on URL change. So if you want to perform something with the URL, then you can do that. Okay, so these are the basic stuff which you can do, and this is almost everything. And if you want to resize, if you want to show, and if you want to close, so basically also make sure to close this web view when you are done with it, and also cancel this subscription. Like these listeners, you should cancel when you are calling the dispose method. And let's try with some more URLs here, and you can also access, and you can see flutter.io worked. Let me try something like github.com/IamPawan, and let's press this button now on the top, and it's working, and it is working pretty well. It looks like a normal widget, which it is not, but it is working very well. So this is how you can use this WebView widget. We will make enhancement to this particular browser as well, and we will see more features with this, but this is a general demonstration which I just showed you, and you can have a different kind of stuff which you can use, and according to that modify this particular browser. You have all the functionalities, and this plugin is very good as of now, and it is getting improved day by day. So that's it with this video, I guess, and I hope you enjoyed it. And there were some issues with the Flutter SDK, but sorry for that. But yeah, that's it. And I hope if you did enjoy it, then you will like the video, and also please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not the subscriber. Also press the bell icon, and again at the end, happy Independence Day, and I'll see you in the next video.